Don't invest in stocks, crypto, mutual funds, annuities, or any of those things, as they could destroy your retirement. Listen, investing in crypto or stocks or any of those things I just mentioned can't save your retirement, because you're just gambling with your hard-earned money, and you should be preserving it instead. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I used to have shiny object syndrome myself until I discovered something far more stable and reliable that helps me in my retirement and can help you. I stumbled upon precious metals investing. That's right. Precious metals have gone crazy in the last few years, and I've watched my portfolio grow steadily while I've seen others who've lost virtually everything investing in meme coins and altcoins and all these other kinds of crypto, and watched it just go to zero as it crashes. You have worked too hard, too long on your retirement in order to watch it all go away in stock market downturns, crypto downturns. And no, I'm not talking about another investment scheme or any of that. I'm talking about physical gold and silver, like what I'm holding in my hands, a 100-ounce bar of pure silver. I have this one wrapped in cellophane, and this one is open. So there's 200 troy ounces. This is over $7,000 worth of silver in my two hands. That's why they call me the Silver Man. My name is Scott Zuckman. I've helped hundreds of people all the way from their 30s, 40s, 50s, and all the way into their 70s, 80s, and 90s. They've done the exact same thing by protecting their retirement so that they can leave a legacy to others and live a comfortable life. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how this is done, why gold and silver physically destroy crypto and stocks and mutual funds. You don't watch your retirement plan go from a 401k to a 101k overnight. Let's get into it. So first, what I want to do is dispel the myth about saving to become rich, saving to become a millionaire, saving to retire with enough money to live on. Here's why. You see, if you went into savings in April of 2020, let's say you started then and you did $1,000 in cash and put it away. Let's say you bought the same amount, $1,000 worth of gold or $1,000 worth of silver. If you fast forward to, say, April of 25, 5 years, then we had about 24% inflation. Now, that inflation has been a real problem for people, because if you take 24% off of the 1,000 due to the inflation is a decrease in buying power, then you would be left with $760 in the bank from the 1,000 that you put in 5 years ago. So savings is actually losing you money. And as a dear friend of mine, Robert Kiyosaki, has always said, savers are losers. And he's talking about losing money by saving, because the dollar is losing its value. Now, look at gold. In that same 5 years, that $1,000 worth of gold will have appreciated to $1,913. Quite a bit difference. That's a difference of $1,200 right there. But wait, silver gone up even more, because that $1,000 worth of silver would be worth over $2,088 based on that price at that time last month. And by the way, in May, right now, you're looking at even higher prices for gold and silver. Gold has hit all-time highs. Another graph that you want to look at is the fact that since the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, the dollar has lost over 97% of its buying power, whereas gold and silver have skyrocketed at the same time, because they're true assets that store real wealth. And if you consider, what would you rather have, 2,000 in the bank after 5 years and just having put 1,000 in, or 760 sitting in the bank after putting 1,000 in? That is why savers are losers. But if you put it into precious metals, now what's been happening with crypto at the time? Some cryptos have gone totally bankrupt. And if you picked those, you would have lost every single penny. And they're very volatile. They're very risky, especially especially altcoins and meme coins and things like that. You may have heard of things like Bitcoin going up at $100,000 a Bitcoin. I've seen people put it on a hard drive and then lose that hard drive, never to recover it. I've seen people who forgot about it and can never find it, or they put a password in and can't find their password and can't open up their own files. Crypto is risky. People use annuities for retirement. That too can be a major problem because it's a fixed payment and you never equal to the rate of inflation. And so inflation eats up even annuities. Bonds are worse. Bonds have been dropping through the floor. If you invested in bonds, you might have lost half of your money in the last few years. So all in all, I'd rather have something that goes up when the dollar goes down. My parents always told me, start saving and save something from every paycheck. Always keep a little bit of money going in the bank and you'll have a lot of money in the bank someday. Well, the problem is that money doesn't buy what it used to. And that's because of inflation and the government printing more money. But the government can't print more gold and silver. There's a fixed amount of it. And miners are only mining that which they can based on supply and demand. And right now the demand is greater. We have seen gold go up like crazy. So with that being said, I'd rather have gold and silver. One more thing that I do want to show you about, comparing the cost of things is this slide right here, which shows the metal matchup of gold versus silver. In 1965, a Ford Mustang right off the showroom floor was literally $2,500. But because a $1 note, well, at the time it was backed by silver. We called it a silver certificate. I'm holding one up to the screen right here, so hopefully you can see that. It means one of these equals $1 silver dollar, $1 US silver dollar. And they were $1 an ounce. That's why they're called silver dollars. But you could put cash or silver in and buy that car. That was in 1965. But what about 2025? What will that silver have gone to? Well, the dollar has gone down in value in all of those years, in those 60 years. And that shows by the fact that the average car is almost $40,000, brand new Mustang. What would happen to silver? Silver will have doubled. So you could literally buy 2 cars at today's price with the same silver you had 60 years ago. But if you kept that cash in the bank, you couldn't even buy rims for that car. Now, let's look at gold and what gold has done. Gold would take less ounces because of the price of gold versus the $2,500 in cash. But in 2025, gold had gone up 5 times. So you could buy 5 Mustangs at the appreciated price. So what does that mean to you? It tells you it doesn't matter what the dollar does, gold and silver keep up with it. And basically, gold had done 2.5 times more than silver did in the exact same time. I want to talk about some of the problems and misunderstandings that people have when it comes to things like crypto. Here's why crypto is a terrible wealth preservation vehicle. It's especially a terrible vehicle for those approaching retirement, all right? Because you risk total loss. You could lose it all, get wiped out. You can never get wiped out if you're holding an ounce of gold like this gold eagle right here. That's worth $3,300 an ounce. And when I bought it, it was $1,700 an ounce. So it has almost doubled in dollars while the dollar's gone down. This always holds value, always has, 5,000 years, always will. Not to mention regulatory concerns. It was totally different with Biden, totally different with Trump. And the bottom line is we don't know what it's going to be 4 years from now, depending on who gets in power then. You see, what most people get wrong about crypto is they hear the stories about how it skyrockets or how over time it was worth so little. I remember when I could have bought Bitcoin for $300 and a Bitcoin, and now it's 100,000 of Bitcoin. Well, again, that was 15, 17 years ago. And at that time, it was risky as hell anyway. And has it gone up and down in between? Absolutely it has. And that is your volatility. People who are putting money in their retirement plans aren't looking for volatility. They're looking for safety, security, and confidence. And that gives them the ability to go out, do whatever they want, whenever. There's a difference between gambling and investing. And investing is where you know you're going to make a profit on your money. Your money is going to make money. But gambling is when you may win big, but you may lose big as well. And that has happened and will continue to happen to crypto, especially in altcoins and meme coins, where a lot of people are getting excited about. Let me give you an example of somebody I know who literally lost half of his entire retirement in Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin doesn't just keep going up forever. He literally lost hundreds of thousands of dollars overnight, and he can't make it back up because he's not working. How are you going to get that? Then you have to start gambling with something to try to get it back. And that is just not cool, especially when you're looking at retirement. What it means to get things right is to unlock your financial future. And when it comes to crypto, you don't know if you're going to get it right. Timing is literally everything, and you don't know what the timing is going to be. Let's talk about for a second what if you decided to use gold or silver instead of crypto? Then you've locked in your retirement money. And by the way, they have gold-backed IRAs. You can literally turn your money into gold and watch it rise instead of go down if it's sitting in cash, or gambling with some money manager who's putting it in some kind of mutual fund. I find that people who don't really think this through are the ones who are gambling the most. Let me talk a little bit about gold and silver benefits over and above its stability, over and above its ability to go up when the dollar goes down. You see, historical proof of precious metals is gold has outperformed the S&P 500 index over the last several decades, has beaten it. So instead of gambling, if it's just sitting in gold, you can either hold it physically or you can put it into an account that's legal. If it's an IRA, then it's after-tax money you're putting in, and that can grow. If it's a 401k, now you can watch it become an 801k. I like the fact that you can physically hold it, right? I showed you 100 troy ounce bar of silver right here in my hand. And this I've had for years. I've had this other one that I showed you earlier. I've had this one even longer. And but that doesn't mean that you can't get 10-ounce bars. I have several, 10-ounce bars here. I can pull them up all day. I also have 5-ounce bars. Okay, here's a 5-ounce bar. You hold it in your hand. But I hold gold too. Here's a 1-ounce bar of gold, of pure gold. Here's a 1-ounce coin. These have the same value because they're considered as bullion. So right here is almost $7,000. Here, let's add another, gold one. This is a gold eagle. I'm not trying to show off because you could have gold in 1 gram or a half a gram of gold, and it still has value, and they all add up when you go to sell them. And one thing I like about silver eagles and gold eagles, you can stack them nicely in something like this, dump them out, and you're holding 20 silver coins in the palm of my hand, literally. I'll try to show you better. Okay, you get the idea. Now, with that being said, you can pay for the things with this. The problem is, even though it's a dollar value, it's worth $35 because of the price of silver. So you hold it for the bullion value going up in value, not for the monetary value of buying a $1 candy bar, or something, as if you could get a candy bar for $1 anymore. So precious metals historically have always proven to be real money, protect against inflation. But could you store it? Yes, you can store it in vaults, and they can be insured. You can minimize storage fees. Let somebody else hold on to it because you're afraid that somebody's going to take it out of your house. This is what most people get wrong and why they don't get involved in gold and silver. Let me give you 2 big reasons. Number one is they think it's a rich man's game and only multi-billionaires can buy gold and silver. That's wrong. What if I told you, and this is a fact, you could buy gold and silver for as little as $1 each, and you could get $1 worth. That would be about 1/35 of an ounce of silver, or in the case of it's 1 3,000th in 300, and you get what we call fractional gold. But this is not funny money like, fractional Bitcoin or fractional, Ethereum. No. This, we're talking about being backed. Let's say you bought $1 worth of silver because you couldn't afford $35. Guess what? Then you own 1/35th of an actual silver dollar. It's kept in the vault with your name on it. If you ever want to take it out, if you have enough to get one single ounce, they'll mail it to you. It's as simple as that. These are what most people get wrong. So they don't get involved. That was the first reason. The second reason is they just are afraid to have that much gold and silver sitting around their house. I probably showed you over $10,000 worth of, well, I know I have. I showed you close to $15,000 worth of gold and silver just sitting around here for the sake of this video. And people just don't feel comfortable having that just sitting around where somebody can come and get it. So what do you do about that? You let somebody else hold it in their secured vault. Okay. And it's insured and it's 24/7 security on it. You could hold it in your hands or you could store it. Let me give you an example of a client that I know. He was a real estate broker and he had over $1 million sitting in the bank. And had he just left that $1 million sitting in the bank, then with 24% inflation over the last 3 years, he would have lost $240,000 of buying power, meaning it's like he only had $760,000 sitting in the bank instead of $1 million, just because he left it there. However, he chose to buy Silver Eagle, and he bought $1 million worth. I know a source you can buy as much or as little as you want. As I said, you could buy it for $1, you could buy 10 million if that's what you wanted to do. So he bought $1 million worth of silver, and he had it stored for a while, but he decided he'd rather sleep comfortable with a safe in his house that he knew he just would feel better having it. They FedExed it insured all to him, and he's sitting on that $1 million today. But you know what? It isn't $1 million. Silver has doubled since he bought it. So it's become $2 million in value. If he traded it back for cash dollars, he'd get $2 million. Think about this for a second. How cool is that? Would you rather have $2 million and watch it still rising? Or would you rather have $760,000 and have lost money? There's no question. So when you want to sleep well at night, you definitely want something that you know won't lose value. Now, don't get me wrong. Gold and silver do go up slightly here and there based on spot prices and futures markets and gamblers doing that. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about physical ownership. And over time, nobody has lost. Just zero people. Zero. And isn't that what retirement is about? If you're in your 30s, you got a lot longer to go. But if you're already in your 60s and 70s, you can't afford to play games. You don't want to gamble. How can you have access to it if you're not holding it and you don't want it just shipped to you? Well, I want to tell you something that almost nobody knows. Something called Sound Money Wallet. There's only one company on planet Earth that does this, can do it, and has the facilities and the ability computer-wise to do it. I'm talking about physical facilities. They store it in a vault, silver or gold eagles, based on what you bought and what you're holding. But if you ever wish to withdraw cash, not have the coin sent to you, then whatever the price is on the spot market, you can press a button on your computer, cell phone, whatever, and you will have that money instantly converted from physical silver and gold into cash that's held for you too digitally. And this is real cash because all you have to do is tell them transfer it over to my bank and the money gets sent to your bank. It's that simple. If you are closing on a real estate house or deal that you wanted to do, then you could just have the money wired over to your bank. You get the benefits of fractional ownership because 24 hours a day, not just when the stock market's open, but 24/7, even on holidays, you press a button. Anytime you want to buy it, it tells you what the price is, and it's the smallest markups out there. Better than anything on the internet. If this is something you want to do, get hold of me. You'll find my contact information in a link below. It has instant purchasing. What if you don't don't have cash in the account already. Well, it could be in your bank. You can send the money from your bank into your Sound Money wallet and convert it straight into gold or silver, whichever you want, and buy as much or as little anytime you want, 24/7 at dealer direct prices. That means we buy directly from the sources who get it from the mint, and that's it. So there's no middlemen. So you're getting the best deal, and absolutely we can beat anybody when you sell it. You'll get over spot. Everybody else out there charges you a fee, and it's under spot. You don't have to worry about any of that should you want to stay liquid. So Sound Money Wallet has all three: physical gold and silver, liquidity, and flexibility, if that's what you want to do. And most people don't know about it. That's what they get wrong. Now, I can tell you of hundreds of people that I personally know who are using Sound Money Wallet at this moment, and they all love it, every single person. And it's because it's unique. I want to tell you something else about tax advantage. What people get wrong is they don't think you can get any tax advantages from gold and silver, and nothing could be further from the truth. You see, if you're buying actual silver eagles or gold eagles, like I showed you before, here, I'll hold one of each up, there's no tax on any profit you make when you sell. Check this with your CPA. I'm not a CPA. I'm not giving, legal advice. I'm not giving accounting advice. I'm just telling you what I know. And you can double check this on your own to be sure. But because it's American gold and silver in the form of eagles, you do not pay taxes on your profit. Also, the government allows you to keep gold in a 401k or a special gold-backed IRA. And these are something you can just flip your retirement money you already have into, and you can add to. You get a lot of tax advantages in this regard because, let's say in an IRA, you get advantage because it's after-tax money anyway. So when you take it out, obviously you're not having to pay tax on the gain unless you declare it and talk to your CPA about all that. What if I did tell you that you could actually benefit from sharing things like the Sound Money Wallet with people? If you told people about it, you can get reward for just word of mouth advertising. Furthermore, when people buy gold and silver and Sound Money Wallet that you have referred, you get 1% of whatever they bought. Think about it. If you referred the person who bought $1 million in silver that I talked about, you'd get a $10,000 reward for that. And you can have it in silver or the same metal they bought. And if you want to turn it into cash, turn it into cash. That's everything that I have on gold and silver. There's a lot more that I can tell you. So I'm going to be putting out some more videos. So make sure that you like and subscribe so that you can keep seeing more of this valuable information. If you're interested in working with us to help you build your precious metals portfolio, then click the first link in this video, book an appointment with me, and I look forward to talking to you again, free of charge. It's my mission to help put this information out in front of people. Thanks for your time, and I look forward to talking to you on the next video.